Crazy station wagons are making a comeback in the US market. Today we'll look at the BMW M5 Touring. I'll include a link to the BMW Pleasant Grove's website in the description down below. They're providing us with this M5 Touring. If you have any questions or need any help, just ask for Chris. And then a quick disclaimer, we're not able to drive this particular car, but I did very recently drive a regular M5, so I'll include the driving impressions of that M5 in this video to give you guys an idea of what the Touring performs like. Let's get into the video. Starting under the hood, we have a twin-turbo 4.4 liter V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic. It's paired to a plug-in hybrid system. 717 horsepower, 738 pound-feet of torque. So this thing is very powerful indeed, and you do get some electric driving range, kind of like the XM. Now, as always, trying to hit 500,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Would appreciate it if you guys would help me out with that. And by the way, sorry about some of the lighting in this shot. Had to film everything inside and it wasn't the best lighting. But yeah, super muscular hood design like the regular M5. And then I thought the headlight design was pretty cool. And then the grille illumination, definitely over the top, but it's an expensive car, and you know, things are pretty much always going to be over the top once you get into this price category. Carbon fiber there on the front end with the splitter, so nice touch point. Probably not going to be all that nice to replace because of the cost, but it's definitely cool to see that in person. And then you guys can see with the tires, I mean, they are wide, staggered setup with this, if I remember right. We'll double check, but you can see we've got more of that carbon fiber on the side, and it kind of blends in with this one because it's a black car, and the carbon fiber, right, it's dark gray for the most part, so it doesn't pop out as much as it would on like a green car, an orange car, something like that with a bright color. Yeah, so yeah, you can see staggered setup. It was 20s up front, 21s in the back, slightly wider tire in the back too, which is pretty typical of a high-performance car like this. Now, the back end's been kind of controversial. I've talked to a few people about this. I think it looks pretty cool. It is very busy. That is one thing to note. Now, you can see with the key fob, you've got the remote start feature, and it's got a kind of nice finish with the gloss. I hope the gloss goes away with these luxury cars, because it just doesn't stay clean long term. Now, this is why you get the Touring, is the space. You basically get an SUV in terms of the rear practicality with crazy car performance, right? Because it's not super high off the ground like an SUV. And with the seat folded down, and by the way, it folds in pretty much flat, tons of space. I mean, you could basically sleep back there. So you could tour with the M5 Touring, quite literally. But yeah, I think that this is why these station wagons, especially high performance ones, are so popular, because it's like a do-everything car. It's super good with the performance and super good with the practicality. The taillights, I think they actually did a good job with that. I don't know. I think they look good. I kind of like them more than the regular M5. Just kind of how it looks with the overall hatch and everything. And then with the exhaust tips, they're surrounded by carbon fiber. It's definitely over the top. It is definitely over the top, but you know, there could be worse things. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the back end. I do think the RS6 looks cleaner, but I think it's the BMW. It's a cool back end. Now, sunshades there for the rear passengers, and this has BMW's new interior. I still am kind of all over the place on this new interior. It's got a lot of really nice materials through. I mean, the speaker looks fantastic, the seats are really nice, and these interiors with the new BMW seem to hold up really well. It just doesn't have, like, it's pretty, like, understated. And so it's, I don't know, something to just think about. And you'll notice that feature-wise, I mean, it's got everything you want. USB ports, you got your own climate zone for the rear. You got a nice headliner. The panoramic sunroof goes to the rear passengers, so it feels like a nice open cabin. There's plenty of headroom. Again, it's a very practical car. And then up front, I guess one thing to note is this stuff is, like, you can see that's super flashy with the ambient lighting. It kind of looks like, I don't know, video game-esque. It's really cool, though, to see in person. But it's almost so, that part is so over the top, and then the seats are not, and so it's kind of like a mix. I mean, look at these seats. They're nice, bucket-type seats. But compared to what you see on the door panel, it's like super, super conservative. But of course, they're power adjustable. And then you got more carbon fiber there on the dash. And then light controls on the dash. I wish that manufacturers do traditional stocks for things and buttons. And I do like the red marker at the top of the steering wheel. That's a nice feature. Now, you've got the M1 and M2 modes with the carbon fiber paddle shifters. They're just plastic on the back, but carbon fiber on the front face. They need to just be all carbon or not, because it's kind of weird when it's a touch point that doesn't feel as premium as it looks. Now, full digital gauge cluster. BMW does a great job with their UI. It changes with the drive modes, and the resolution's good. There's a bit of glare, so that's one downside. But overall, it seems like a pretty good system. And then the infotainment system, of course, super responsive, super easy to use. Everything is nicely labeled. It does have a ton of applications, so it can be a little bit overwhelming. And you can see heated and ventilated seats for up front. But, you know, altogether, it's a system, like I said, that's easy to use. I do not like the drive mode select change. I wish that they would just have button instead of having to button and then screen, button screen to change everything. And then you've got, again, they've overcomplicated everything. Sliders for the fans instead of just a physical little like knob. It's like, why add the complexity? Cup holders down below, USB ports in front of them, which is kind of a weird place to put a USB port, but also you can just put your phone in the cup holder. I mean, I do that all the time in cars, so it kind of makes sense. And then you got physical controls for everything. So, you know, for the infotainment system, for the hybrid modes, and again, there's separate drive modes and hybrid modes because of the plug-in system. Center console is pretty spacious, got nice trim on the top of that with the fancy stitching. And again, with the headliner, it's going to be more of a premium trim. And then when it comes to pricing, it's a lot. But it's an M5, and it's an M5 Touring. And you guys can see the range, 25 miles. Again, this hybrid powertrain is more about performance rather than being economical. That's most of these crazy high performance ones. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty similar in price to an RS6. So with that being said, I'll show you guys the footage of me driving the M5. Let us take a little drive here in the M5. This is a pretty crazy beast, if you ask me. And yes, I know all the memes, right? All the memes comparing this to a boat, to a whale. And yes, it does in fact weigh more than a lot of pickup trucks and a lot of big SUVs. But it's got a lot of power. I am interested to see though how this new generation of super sport sedans and stuff ends up doing long term, because they're getting so technical that, yeah, I just don't know. Like the old sports cars, the reason why they're exciting is because of how raw they were. But this, I can tell you right off the bat, this thing is full-blown luxury. I mean, super comfortable ride. It's quiet with the hybrid system. I mean, very daily drivable car. You know, you compare this to like an older M car, and the older M cars, like, you don't want to daily drive it. You could, of course, but not comfortable like this. Yeah, we'll say nice. Right, it is more aggressive though. You know, you can kind of feel a little bit more. And these, I don't think I've ever experienced these Hankooks before. Hankooks, however you say it. Hankooks, I don't know. They seem pretty aggressive. It's not terrible though. You can hear quite a bit happening through with the road noise and all of that. Yeah, nice little. It's controllable with the suspension, but it's definitely firm. It's definitely a firm car. And you hear everything. So, I mean, it still has some level of rawness to it, but it's also so quiet. This would be fun to daily drive. And also get the crazy power. It's got decent level of regen as well. Pop it into the M2 mode. Let's see, M2's less aggressive than M1. Interesting. Seems like. Both are aggressive. Okay, we're in the M1 mode. Whoa! It's quick. Can you downshift, please? Oof, yeah, it is quick. It is very, very quick. Monstrously quick. It feels like it has 2 billion pound-feet of torque. It's impressive. This is an interesting one. Let me make sure I'm in automatic mode. There we go. Put it back into normal mode. So, something's up with the new M5. This is a very interesting car. So it's daily drivable. It's definitely an M car though. It's still firm and all of that. It handles better than you think considering the curb weight. It's got great power. What I will say though is it's too refined, as weird as that sounds. The plug-in hybrid, right, does provide great power. It kind of reminds me of what Mercedes is doing with their, you know, 63s now, with them doing plug-in hybrids too. It's just, it's so much power, but it's also really refined, and so there's not an edge to this. Like, you just take the previous gen M5 competition, and that still felt like it's still luxury, but it still felt like it had some level of edge. This is like mega refined, so it's kind of different. Let me know what you guys think about the new M5 here. What I would say is, overall, it's a cool car, and I think it's better than the specs suggest in terms of the drive, but it doesn't have that aggression, that edge that I feel like you associate with M cars. Let me know your thoughts.